This is Brian Shapiro from the Joanne Forster team at Compass in Miami, Florida, coming at you from my new executive office suite here in my bedroom in Pinecrest. We've been asked often over the last couple of weeks how COVID-19 is impacting the market. What do we currently see happening? What do we project might be market conditions moving forward over the next couple of weeks, months, and for the remainder of the year? And so our team put together this exclusive dashboard that pulls data from our local MLS every single day and aggregates it into these great reports that will enable us to communicate to our clients, our market, our colleagues, our friends and family, the trends that we're seeing in the marketplace now, and over time try to project that to what it might mean moving into the future. This will be the first of many updates that we'll provide either on a daily or weekly basis. Today, we're going to be looking at what's happening countywide in Miami-Dade County across all property types and price ranges. But moving forward, we'll start drilling down into different market segments, city by city, single family versus condos, different price range bands, and so on and so forth. So, one of the things that we're really monitoring closely is how many new sales contracts there are versus contracts that are being canceled. So what we see is that there are a number of homes currently going under contract despite the COVID 19 lockdown. So Monday, we had 88 homes going under contract, and that compared to 48 the week prior. So we have an uptick in homes going under contract, but we've seen, that lower somewhat yesterday, and still higher than what we had seen the week before. So what we're seeing is perhaps some of the initial panic from last week is tapering off, although these numbers are still depressed compared to our normal market down here in Miami. One of the other things that we're monitoring closely is the number of new listing versus off market listings. So, how many people are listing homes for sale right now in spite of the COVID 19 environment, either because they don't believe that it's going to have a material impact or they want to get out ahead of whatever might be coming longer term, and how many people who have been on the market for sale are pulling their homes off of the market. And so what we see is that we had a reduction leading into the weekend, but we had a sharp uptick coming out of the weekend into Monday, and it's kind of stabilized yesterday into Tuesday. But it's interesting to note that we see almost a one-to-one parity between the number of people who are listing for sale and the number who are taking their properties off of the market for sale. It'll be very interesting to see if this trend continues or if the number of new listings comes down and the number of off-market listings goes up. And this is something we'll continue to watch very closely and report back at you with. Then we can drill down into what's happening in closed, pending, and canceled sales. So we see that we had a sharp decline in closed sales on the 21st. This was really a weekend lull more than anything. And we've seen somewhat of an uptick into Monday and yesterday on Tuesday. I should note that this data is always a day trailing because we're pulling from the MLS every single night. But one of the real interesting trends we're seeing here, and we'll have to watch it as time goes on, is that compared to last week, the number of closed sales is down significantly. So last week we had 80 closed sales, or 90, closed sales on Monday. We had 41 this week on Monday. We had 86 last week on Monday. We have 22 this week on Monday. So you're talking about a pretty significant decrease in closed sales this week compared to just last week. And last week we were in the beginning of the COVID lockdown. So, this week's downward trend is still, more so than last week's downward trend as we were still dealing with this issue then. Pending sales, we see that the number of pending sales slowly decreased through last week into the weekend, and then we did see some uptick, but again, we're down. So on Monday, we had 88 homes go under contract compared to 135 the week prior. And yesterday we had 64 go under contract compared to 117 the week prior. And again, the week prior we were still in the beginning of the COVID-19 lockdown. And so this week we're seeing a fairly significant drop in new contracts compared to what we had even last week. Again, we'll have to wait and see how this trend continues over the next several days and weeks to know where exactly the market may be headed. Canceled sales slowed down through the weekend as would be expected, but on Monday shot up fairly significantly and remained fairly high yesterday, especially relative to the week prior. So on Monday we had 48 canceled sales versus just 35 the week prior. We had 41 canceled sales yesterday versus 28 the week prior. And then we come down into new listings, price reductions, and homes that are going back on the market. So for new listings, we were fairly steady into late last week. As would be expected, we came down into the weekend. And then we increased yesterday and Monday and yesterday, although yesterday you can see a pretty big difference. Last week there were 154 homes listed. Last Tuesday, only 128 this Tuesday. We're going to have to see if that delta continues with fewer and fewer new listings coming on the market, or if more and more sellers decide we need to get ahead of whatever might be coming long term and putting their homes on the market. In terms of price reductions, these are sellers who feel like now is the time to be a little more aggressive to get ahead of whatever might be coming. You can see that people were taking mostly a wait and see attitude going into the weekend, with reductions coming down fairly sharply. But into Monday and Tuesday, we saw an uptick, not as much as we saw last week. So this might be caused by last week we had more of a knee-jerk reaction. We had just begun our lockdown. More people decided, let's try to get ahead of this quickly, reduce their price. This week, it seems like more sellers may be taking a wait-and-see attitude to know how long this might last, how bad it may get, and what the government intervention may ultimately look like, and what effect it may have on the economy. Looking at homes that have been put back on the market, these were sellers that, for one reason or the other, had their homes off the market, and instead of permanently taking it off the market, decided we better get it back on the market right now before things might potentially get worse. And so you see a sharp uptick in homes that have been put back on the market this week, Monday and Tuesday. And then our final three charts we're going to look at today, homes that have been taken temporarily off the market. These are sellers who don't want to take their home off the market permanently, but want to hit the pause button, either to wait and see what's happening, or just because they don't want people in their homes right now, and for whatever reason want to take it off the MLS and the internet. And so we see a sharp increase leading into this week from the weekend, kind of tapering off a little yesterday, both higher than what we saw the week prior. So last Monday we had 46 homes temporarily off the market. Today we have this Monday we had 67. Last Tuesday we had 23. Yesterday we had twice as many homes taken off the market as we had the week prior. So again, another interesting trend that we'll have to wait and see how it continues. Canceled listings, how many sellers are saying, temporarily off the market's not enough. Now's not the time for me to sell. I want to permanently take my home off the market right now. Maybe in a month or 2 months or 6 months, or whenever we'll decide to put it back on. So late last week we had a fairly high number of canceled listings that came down noticeably into the weekend, and then we had a very steep increase going into this Monday and Tuesday, although this week is below what we saw last week. So perhaps, again, last week we had many sellers, with knee-jerk reactions, take my home off the market, get it off the market. This week we still have a fairly high number, but it's lower than what we had last week. We'll have to see how those trends continued. And then finally, we have expired listings. It's hard to know exactly what to read from expired listings. These are listings that were likely to expire whether or not we had, COVID-19. Um, Many might have relisted if not for the current COVID-19 environment. We'll have to wait and see this trend to understand what this might mean for us. So, overall, we do see a pretty noticeable slowdown in the market, as should be expected during these difficult times, with fewer homes going under contract, more homes canceling contracts, more buyers canceling contracts than what we typically see, and an unusually high number of homes coming off the market relative to new homes being listed for sale. And these are all natural occurrences that should be expected. The Joanne Foster team continues to monitor the market very closely, both on a macro basis as well as on an individual basis for our sellers, buyers who want to know if now is a good opportunity to buy or if maybe they should wait. If anybody has any questions, like to see one of these reports for your particular circumstances, just direct message us on social, or Google us, and call or text. Our number's 305 504 8267, or send us an email at brian@uniquehomesofmiami.com, and we'd be more than happy to walk you through one of these reports just for your circumstances, and provide you with ongoing updates. We're going to be sending more of these videos on a daily and weekly basis, and again, we'll be drilling down into individual market segments, city by city, different price ranges, different property types, looking at single family homes versus condos. And we hope that this helps give you some much needed information. And we wish everybody well through these difficult times. We're going to get through this together. And we look forward to seeing you all soon.